Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Laura Reninkowski, and I'm an international life and relationship coach. And I coach in English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. The reason why I speak all these languages is because I was born in Finland, and I grew up in Caracas, Venezuela. In Venezuela, I went to international American schools. And then I studied university in Boston University. Then I lived in Miami, Florida, and now I live in Dublin, Ireland. So I consider myself a citizen of the world. I've been a coach for 15 years now, and I love coaching. I love helping and guiding people to find to get more awareness and to find their own answers within. And coaching combines three things that have always been important to me. I've always known that I'm here to help people. Even when I was a little girl, I knew that I had a higher purpose in this life, and like a big calling and a big mission. So I'm here to help people. I'm also a communicator. I love talking. I love talking to different people in different languages and in different cultures. So yeah, um, I love talking, and I'm also very spiritual as well. So coaching really combines these three things for me. So so I'm a life and a relationship coach. I do a lot of relationship coaching. And today I'm going to talk about Breakthrough to Love. And Breakthrough to Love is a course that I run. It's a 6-week course that I run. So today I'm going to condense it into a smaller time, just to give you an overview of what Breakthrough to Love is really about. And then if you want to find out more, you can contact me, about taking the full course. So I'm going to start sharing. I have a PowerPoint presentation here to share. So I'm going to start sharing that now. All right. So this will give you an overview. This will give you a brief overview of what the course is about. So as I mentioned, I'm a certified international life and relationship coach, and I'm also an NLP practitioner. NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming, and I'm also a motivational speaker. So this is the Breakthrough to Love workshop, and it's part of the Quiet and Badass Summit. So I hope you enjoy the workshop today, and I hope it gives you things to think about, and I hope that ultimately it helps you improve the relationship that you have with yourself, which is the most important relationship that you're ever going to have. Everything begins and ends with you, always. All right, so the main themes that I'm going to talk about today is the most important relationship that you have is the one with yourself. That is so true. And the relationship that you have with yourself is something that you should work on every day, right? Because we all have good days and bad days, and it's really easy to love yourself in those good days, but then it's a lot more challenging when you're having a bad day, to love yourself, and that's when it's the most important to love yourself and to be compassionate with yourself as well. So, so self-love and self-acceptance. You know, I talk about these two things all the time, nonstop. I would say that self-love and self-acceptance are the most important things that we all need to learn to do, and many times it can be the most difficult as well. So I would say that self-love and self-acceptance is something that we all need to work on every day on a constant basis. I think it's really, really important, you know, because if you don't love and accept yourself, how do you expect other people to love and accept you, right? And the thing is that for you to love and accept yourself doesn't mean that you think that you're perfect. Doesn't mean that, but it means that you accept yourself, you know, with your good qualities and, you know, and your bad qualities, because we all have them. We all have good qualities, and we all have, you know, not so good qualities as well. So it's about loving all those qualities and accepting all those qualities as well. So so that's really, really really important. And talking about relationships, when coaching clients come to me looking for a relationship, I always tell them that the first relationship that we're going to look at is the one with themselves, right? Because everything begins and ends with you. And then when we start looking into the type of relationship that they have with themselves, many times these people are telling themselves incredibly negative things. You know, they're beating themselves up, and they're just saying horrible negative things to themselves. And there's no way there's no way that you're going to attract a nice, loving relationship into your life if you constantly say negative things to yourself. You know, if you probably know about the law of attraction, and it's so true. In order to find a kind and loving relationship, in order to attract a kind and loving person into your life, you need to be kind and loving with yourself first. So I think that's a really, really important thing to keep in mind. So so the next thing is self-talk. Self-talk is huge. It's, you know, it's a good exercise to monitor your self-talk. What kind of things are you saying to yourself on a daily basis? Are they mostly positive, or are they mostly negative? If they're mostly positive, great. Keep on telling yourself all the great things that you're telling yourself. But if they're mostly negative, find a way to turn it around. And one way that you can turn negative self-talk around is by using humor. Humor is so important, and it can change the dynamic, and it can change the energy that you're carrying, right? You can, in a way, you can laugh at yourself and be like, oh, there I am being silly again, and saying bad things to myself, right? But, you know, look at your self-talk and put a percentage on it. What percent, excuse me, what percent is positive and what percent is negative? And this will show you a lot. This will show you a lot. And the next time you're about to say something negative to yourself, catch the thought, and find a way to turn it around. Find a way to turn it around. Use humor, you know, and find a way to turn it around. Because the truth is that the way that you're talking to yourself, you're telling the rest of the world to talk to you like that, right? So if you go around saying horrible things to yourself, and beating yourself up all the time and saying, thinking to yourself that you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not intelligent enough, you're not tall enough, whatever it is that you're saying to yourself, that's the kind of energy that you're putting out into the world, and that's the kind of energy that you're going to get back, right? So find a way, to turn those negative things around. And I know that sometimes, if you've been saying something negative to yourself for a long time, I know that it's not easy just to go from saying something bad to yourself and turning it around into something positive. But one way that you can take one step closer to changing it is by saying, I am open to the possibility of, and whatever it is, right? For example, if it's too much for you to say, I love myself, I love and accept myself, for example, one thing that you can say to yourself is, I am open to the possibility of loving and accepting myself, right? Because that way you're getting closer to the possibility, but you're not stating it as a fact. So that's something that you can do. That's one exercise. That you can do. If it's too much to say, that you fully love and accept yourself. So there's different, there's different ways that you can word it. Word it in a way that makes sense to you, and that you feel comfortable with. And one thing, you can also work with affirmations, and come up with an affirmation which makes sense to you. Yeah, it's whatever makes sense to you. When you're walking down the street, you can say, I am, I am great and powerful and strong, or whatever it is that you want to say to yourself. But it always has to resonate with you. It always has to make sense to you, because this is about you and what feels right and comfortable with you. It's not about the other people, because again, this is how you're talking to yourself. So nobody else needs to know about this. So yeah, so your self-talk is very important. Don't be your worst enemy. Instead of being your worst enemy, be your own best friend. Be your own best friend and your own cheerleader, right? That's a lot better. And just changing your self-talk from negative to positive can literally be life-changing. That's how incredibly powerful it is. And most people don't even think about it. Most people, even if they're saying really negative things to themselves, they're so used to thinking negative things and saying horrible things to themselves that they don't even notice it, because it's part of their routine. So if this is the case for you, find a way. Now that you have this awareness, find a way to turn it around, and I guarantee you, your life will change just by changing your self-talk. All right, so self-talk is very important. Next, we're going to talk about your beliefs. Your beliefs are incredibly important as well, because if you believe that something is possible, if you're open to the possibility of something being possible for you, then you can achieve it. If you don't believe that something is possible for you, or if you don't believe that you're worthy of something happening for you, then it's never going to happen. For example, I'll give you an example. Since we're talking about relationships, one important thing to think about in relationships is, for example, if you're a woman, what is it that you believe about men in general? Do you believe that there's no good men out there? Do you believe that they're all married or players, or gay or whatever it is that you believe about men, are these the beliefs that you have about men? Or do you believe that there are still good available men out there? So this is like these beliefs are very crucial, because if you don't believe that there's any good men out there, how are you going to meet somebody that you don't even believe exists, right? It's completely impossible, right? So you have to believe, if you want to meet, if you want a relationship and you want to meet a nice man to have a relationship with, you have to believe that a man like that exists. Even if you don't know where he is, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know where he is. But you need to believe that it's possible, because if you don't believe that it's possible, then it's never going to happen, right? So in order to attract something into your life, you have to be aligned on many different levels, right? Well, first of all, you have to feel good within yourself, and you have to love and accept yourself. You have to look at your self-talk. You have to look at your beliefs, and you have to look at the stories that you're telling yourself as well, right? So when all of these things are aligned, in a good way, then and you believe that a relationship is possible, for a nice relationship is possible for you, and you believe that that there's good men out there, then by you holding those beliefs and that vibration, the universe, life, destiny, whatever name you want to put on it, will work with you and will bring people, events, and circumstances into your life, which will help you create whatever it is that you want to create. If it's a relationship, right? But you need to do the inner work first, right? Because most of the time, people try to change their outside world without doing the inner work first, and that never works. That never works. The only way that your life is going to change is by you doing the inner work first, by looking at your beliefs, your stories, by looking at all of that, and aligning all of those levels, aligning everything within you, and then your outside world will change. Then you'll be able to attract new people, events, and circumstances into your life, right? But you always have to do the inner work first. Always. There's no way around. You can't get around it. You always have to do the inner work first. Okay? All right. So really look at your beliefs. Really look at your beliefs from all angles. Look at what do you believe about yourself, love, relationships, men, women, all of that. You need to look at your beliefs. Then next, you need to look at your stories, because the stories that you're telling yourself are incredibly powerful, and they impact you in a very, very strong way. So there's many different ways to look at your stories. I think the best thing to do is first look at the story that you're telling about yourself. And one thing that I ask my coaching clients to do is to actually write their story, right? Like it's very effective to write these stories down instead of just thinking about them. Because when you write something down, you put more energy behind it. So write the story that you're telling about yourself, right? And this can be anything. There's no right or wrong answers here, because this is your story about yourself. So write down the story that you're telling about yourself. Write it down, and then read it. And then next to it, if you're not happy with the story that you're telling yourself right now, next to it, write the story that you would like to tell about yourself, right? So you would be writing your present story, and then another story of how you would, what story would you like to write about yourself? What's this new story that you would like to write about yourself? So first you look at that, and then you can write different stories. You can write the story of what you think of men, what you think of women, what you think of about relationships, what you think about marriage. I mean, you can pick any topic that you want, and write down the story that you're telling yourself about this particular topic. And this exercise can be very insightful, very enlightening, because you can learn so much about yourself, and yeah, and why you're thinking certain things and doing certain things, right? So the more awareness and the more insight you have about these things, the more you can change them, right? Because you can only change something that you're aware of. You can't change something that you're not aware of. And once you become aware of something, you can't unaware yourself about something, right? So these exercises are really, really, really powerful. In a way, very simple, but extremely, extremely powerful. So yeah, so write down the different stories about the different topics that are affecting you, and then next to the present stories, write the story that you would like to tell yourself, right? Find a way to turn that story around, because remember that stories are just stories, and just the way that you're telling yourself a story about something, you have the power to change that story, right? Because it's not you can't change what happened in the past. That you can't do, but you can change the story that you're telling yourself about something that happened in the past. And that's what makes all the difference. The story, not what happened, but the story that you're telling yourself about what happened, right? So yeah, so look at those stories. Look at those stories and find a way to turn them around. Next is forgiveness. Excuse me. Forgiveness is another really, really big one. It's so important to forgive yourself, especially yourself, because many times it can be a lot easier to forgive other people that have been in your life, like your exes, for example. And many times, the most difficult thing can be to forgive yourself about whatever mistakes you feel that you have made in this life, right? But it's so important. You need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive yourself for anything that has happened in the past. You need to forgive yourself, and by you forgiving yourself or another person, you're not saying that what happened, that what happened wasn't bad, but you're saying that you're choosing to let it go. You're choosing to let it go so that it doesn't affect you anymore and it doesn't weigh you down anymore. So yeah, forgiveness is so, so important. And I know that, I've heard clients say that when I've told them about forgiveness, no, but you don't understand. You don't understand what this person did to me. I can't forgive this person. And then I say to them, by you forgiving this person, you're not saying that what they did, was okay. But what you are saying is that it's not going to affect you anymore. You're going to let it go, and it's not going to weigh you down anymore, right? Because when you don't forgive somebody, And when you feel resentment towards somebody, it's like you're drinking the poison and you expect the other person to die, right? So you're the one that's drinking the poison, and meanwhile the other person is living their life, and has no isn't thinking about you and your resentment, right? So forgiveness is very liberating and very necessary, as well. And remember that you can stay stuck. You can literally stay stuck in a moment. You can literally stay stuck in different kinds of pain, whether it's heartbreak, whether it's emotional pain or physical pain. You can stay stuck for a long time, and you always have a choice. You choose how long you're going to be stuck in pain, how long you're going to be stuck in a moment. So learn whatever it is that you need to learn from the experience, and then move on, and then let it go and move on. I know that sometimes it can be easier said than done, but I've been stuck in moments and in pain, as well. But now, with the life experience that I have now, I move on faster now. I learn what it is that I learn what it is that I need to learn from the experience, and then I move on, and I don't get stuck anymore. But I used to get stuck, so I know what it's like to be stuck in pain, to be stuck in heartbreak, and to be stuck in a moment. But I also know how incredibly liberating it is to let something go, to let a pain go, and move on. Which takes me to my next point: letting go of the past. Letting go of the past is very, very important, especially in relationships. If you keep on thinking about the past, if you keep on thinking about an ex, if you keep on thinking about a relationship that didn't work, and you just can't accept that it has finished and you can't get it back, then you can get stuck. You can get stuck there again, for a long time. I mean, some people get stuck. You can be stuck in a past situation or in a past relationship. You can be stuck a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. These things have happened. So don't do that to yourself. Don't get stuck in a moment, and don't get stuck in the past. You have to let go of the past. You have to let go of the past in order to make room for new things to come into your life, for a new person, for a new person, events and circumstances, to come into your life. So that's really important. Letting go, like the song, let it go, like the song from Frozen. All right. So what's the most important thing to attract a fun and loving relationship? Well, if you want to attract a fun and loving relationship, you have to be fun and loving yourself first. That's the yeah, that's the magic key. Deepak Chopra, who I've taken several courses with, he wrote a book called the Path to Love, and in that book he talks about, he says, become the person that you want to be with, right? So if you wanna be with a fun and loving person, you need to be fun and loving yourself. If you're sad and depressed, you're not going to attract a fun and loving person. So when you feel happy and positive, you attract this. You attract another happy and positive person into your life. And when you feel sad and negative, you attract this. When you feel sad and negative, then you're going to attract, another sad and negative person into your life. So the most important thing is to feel complete and fulfilled within yourself. That's always the most important thing. And remember that your happiness is your responsibility. It's no one else's responsibility. It's not your parents' responsibility. It's not your friend's responsibility. It's not your sibling's responsibility. And it certainly is not the responsibility of your partner. Your happiness is your responsibility. Always. Always. There's a lot of people that say that they want a relationship, to feel happy. And that's a huge mistake, because you can only, another person is not gonna make you happy. You need to be happy within yourself first, and then you can share that happiness with somebody else. Then you can share that love and that happiness with somebody else, because you can only share something that you already have within yourself, right? You can't share something that you don't have within yourself. So that's something really, really important to remember. Yeah, your happiness is your responsibility, and if you give your happiness, if your happiness is in the hands of somebody else, like a partner, for example, then what happens if that person walks away? Then you fall into a black hole? No. That's why your happiness is your responsibility, always. It's nobody else's responsibility. And I think that that's a very important thing to remember, because a lot of people expect somebody else to make them happy. And remember that it's not their job. It's not their job to make you happy. You need to be happy within yourself. And another way of thinking about this is, you have to feel, picture like you having all these different tanks inside of you, just like a car, just like, you have to put some gasoline or petrol in your car. You have to fill yourself up. You have to fill your own tanks up in order to be able to share from those tanks, right? So you have to fill your tank of love, your tank of happiness, your tank of joy, abundance, optimism. You get to decide what tanks you have inside, and how you fill them, right? Because if you're empty inside, if all of your tanks are empty inside, you can't share anything, being empty, right? And for example, one thing that mothers do a lot is that they give so much that then, they give so much to their children and their husbands and to the family, that then they feel empty inside, right? So then it's so important, no matter what you're doing in your life. No matter if you're single in a relationship, if you're married, if you're a mother, it doesn't matter what you're doing in your life, but it's really important that you need to fill those tanks within yourself first, and because then you can share from those tanks, right? You can't share with anybody else if you feel empty inside, if those tanks are empty inside. So remember to fill your tanks. Fill your tanks with love, light, joy, happiness, abundance, positivity. You decide. You decide what those tanks are, and you decide how to fill them, right? So the most important thing is to feel complete and fulfilled within yourself. And again, nobody else can do this for you. You have to do it. You have to do it yourself. You have to find, that inner strength and that inner peace within yourself. All right. So the stories that we tell ourselves define our reality. What story are you telling yourself about love and relationships and your past? Do these stories lift you up, or do they bring you down? And you have the power to change these stories. Remember that. You always have the power to change whatever story you're telling yourself about a subject. So you can experience both sides, from total devastation to finding yourself and love again. And going back to the stories. So So if you've been through a breakup, you know, most people have experienced some kind of breakup. So when you go through a breakup, you have the choice of what kind of story you're going to tell yourself about a breakup. One story that you can tell yourself is that you lost the love of your life and you're going to be alone for the rest of your life. Now, if you tell yourself that story is very negative, and it closes off any possibility of finding a new relationship and new love, right? So yeah, don't tell yourself that story. Another story that you can tell yourself is, I'm grateful that I had this relationship. I learned a lot in this relationship. I grew a lot in this relationship. I learned a lot about myself, about my ex-partner, about love, about relationships, about dynamics of relationships. And this relationship will help me create an even better relationship in the future. And I am open to finding and manifesting a better relationship. So if you tell yourself that story is a lot more positive, and that story opens possibilities and opportunities for you in your life. So think about the stories. Think about the stories that you're telling yourself in a breakup, because these stories are very they're very powerful. They're very powerful, and they also determine how long you're gonna be stuck in heartbreak, and you know how and when you'll be ready to move on. So and there's no exact formula in terms of how long it's going to take you to recover from a relationship. You know, every person is different and every circumstance is different. You know, of course, relationships are, you know, breakups are difficult, and you need time to process the breakup. But just remember not to get stuck. Don't get stuck in the breakup, and don't get stuck in a moment. So and remember that everything passes. You know, one of my favorite sayings is, "This too shall pass," because the one constant in life is that everything changes, right? So when you're going through a bad moment, when you're going through a challenge, just remember that it's not going to last forever. And the same is true when you're going through a good moment as well. It's not going to last forever. That's why we have to live every moment fully. Live every moment fully. You know, live the power of now. You know, live every moment fully, and you know, enjoy life, and learn from all the experiences that you have. So yeah, and remember that after the darkness, there's always light. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, even if you don't see it, even if you feel like you're in a black hole and you can't see the light. The light is always there, even if you can't see it. So yeah, so you can experience both sides, from total devastation to finding yourself and love again. So your stories and recovery. So what's your story? In Ireland, where I live, there's a saying. They say, "What's your story? What's the story?" So yeah, so your recovery can be long because of the story that you tell yourself about what happened. But things change when you change the story. So the most important thing is not what has happened to you, but what story are you telling yourself about what has happened? And you can change your story at any time. Remember, you have the choice. You have the choice if you're going to tell yourself a very negative story that closes all doors and possibilities, or you have the choice of telling yourself a positive story that opens up possibilities and opportunities for you. So your story can be constructive or destructive. So choose wisely. Choose a constructive story. Don't choose a destructive story. So what are some ways that you can become more fun and loving now? Remember, we're all energy, right? So we all have energy. And one of the best ways to start manifesting more things into your life, start manifesting good things, good positive things into your life, is by feeling really good. Is by feeling really good within yourself, right? That's the fastest way to start manifesting things, right? The better you feel, the happier you feel inside, the more aligned and harmonious you feel inside, the more you're going to start manifesting amazing things into your life. All of a sudden, you can turn into like a lighthouse, that starts attracting the most amazing things into your life, and life will constantly surprise you. Life will surprise you and bring in amazing people, events, and circumstances into your life that can just exceed like your wildest dreams. So amazing things can start happening when you change your frequency and your vibration and the kind of energy that you have within yourself, and the kind of energy that you're putting out into the world. All right, so laughter. Laugh every day. Laughter is incredibly important and incredibly powerful. When you laugh, it releases serotonin. And even if you even if you just like force yourself to like laugh or smile, you'll feel better. You'll feel better right away. You can do laughter yoga, which basically it's not. Some people think that it's when you do yoga and laugh, but laughter yoga is basically you go to a class and then you do like all these silly exercises for an hour, and then you just like laugh together with people, and it's great therapy. Laughter therapy is the best, and you literally feel you feel a lot better afterwards. After you laugh for an hour, it's it's like you get to be a kid again. You get to be a kid again, and I think that that's really important as well, to keep keep your inner child alive. Keep your inner child alive. Many times when we're adults, we have to be these serious professional adults, but it's so important. It's so important to keep that that joyful, playful inner child alive, and by laughing is one way of doing it. And then dancing. Dancing is so much fun. You can meet people dancing as well, and there's so many different dances that you can do. I personally love Latin dancing, like merengue and salsa, since I grew up in Venezuela. So yeah, so I love dancing salsa and merengue, but yeah, like everybody, you can pick whatever dance you like, or else you can take a dancing class. I know so many couples that have met in a dancing class. So that's one way. That's one way of meeting new people, and making new friends. So go out with friends. Go out with your friends and have a good time. Have an attitude of gratitude. Have an attitude of gratitude, and every day write down at least 5 things that you're grateful for. I tell my coaching clients to have to have a gratitude journal, and write down, every day. Write down at least 5 things that you're grateful for, and it can be really big things and really small things too. You can be grateful for a glass of water, and you can be grateful for a trip that you're going to take. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But the most important thing is that you focus on the gratitude, focus on what you have, and being grateful for what you have. So instead of focusing, when you feel grateful for what you have, you're creating more abundance in your life. When you focus on what you don't have, you're creating more lack in your life, right? So this attitude of gratitude is very, very important and powerful. And then if you have a gratitude journal, when you're having a bad day, you can go back and read all the great things that you've written before about the things that you're grateful for. Say nice and positive things to yourself. Become your own best friend. I can't stress that enough. Be your own best friend instead of your own worst enemy. And if you're about to say something negative to yourself, stop yourself and find a way to turn it around. Focus on what you have and not on what you don't have. Focus on the abundance. Focus on the abundance in your life. Don't think about the lack, because if you're the type of person that complains all the time, you're going to attract more lack into your life. And you're going to attract more things to complain about in your life, because whatever you focus on grows, right? So focus on abundance in all ways. Focus on abundance in all ways. And whatever it is that you want to attract into your life, whatever it is that you want to attract into your life, you have to love, right? Remember this. This is really, really important. If you want to, let's say you're a woman and you want to attract like a nice man into your life, like you have to like love men, right? You can't sit there complaining about how horrible men are all the time, right? Because that's not going to work. So whatever it is that you want to attract into your life, you have to love. If you want to attract more money into your life, you have to love money. Whatever it is that you want to attract, you have to love it first. I think that's really important, and most people don't think about it at all. So focus on what you have and not on what you don't have. Okay, positive self-talk. So the only way to change the outside world is changing yourself first. So monitor your self-talk. Is it mostly positive or negative? Remember that the way you talk to yourself is the way that you are telling the universe to talk to you and treat you. Remember to be kind and loving towards yourself, and put aside harsh criticism and judgments. We can be so hard on ourselves, and we can judge ourselves in such a harsh way, in such a tough way. And you probably wouldn't speak to your friends the way that you speak to yourself sometimes. So remember to be kind and compassionate with yourself. It's so important. It's so important. And also remember that whatever it is that you're saying to yourself, think of your mind like a movie projector. You're walking down the street, and whatever it is that you're thinking about, you're projecting. Think that you're projecting that onto like a movie screen that everybody can see, right? So if you think about it that way, you probably don't want people to see the horrible things that you're saying to yourself, right? So change the movie, right? Change the movie of your life, right? By changing your thoughts, your words, and your actions, right? Because everything begins, before anything happens, everything begins with a thought. First, you think about something, then you talk about it, and then you put action behind it, right? So everything begins with a thought. That's why your thoughts are incredibly, incredibly important. And by changing your thoughts and by changing your beliefs, you change your life. Okay, ways to get more empowered. Again, self-love and self-acceptance, always at the top, always at the top. Always go back to self-love and self-acceptance. And if something goes wrong, if something goes wrong in your life, accept it and learn from it. But don't sit there beating yourself up about it, right? Put the bat down. Put the bat down. And don't beat yourself up about it. Learn from it and move on. Exercise. When you move and you exercise your body, then there's more movement, right? And activity creates more activity, right? So exercise is very important, and of course, to feel healthier in all ways. Get out of your comfort zone. The magic happens outside outside of your comfort zone. We tend to be creatures of habit, and we tend to do the same things over and over again. So yeah, like if you always go to the same places, go to a new place. Go to a new place. If you always go to the same restaurants, the same bars, yeah, go to a new place, and that way, you can meet different kinds of people. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So if you want to change something in your life, you have to make some changes. You can't keep on doing the same thing and expect things to change. Choose to be around positive people. It's a choice. You choose if you're around positive people, or you choose if you're around negative people. Have an abundant mentality. Have goals. Think positive thoughts. You can only control yourself. You are your own judge. Meditation, chanting, and singing can also be good. Take responsibility for your own life. Positive affirmations in the present tense. Have a positive theme song. When you're walking down the street, what kind of song are you thinking about? Make sure that it's positive. Your body language. What kind of message are you transmitting with your body language? The power of your beliefs and the law of attraction. Remember that we're attracting things into our lives constantly. So remember to focus on positive things. Focus on positive things that you want to bring into your life. Mirror work. What matters most is how you see yourself. This cat sees, this cat thinks that it's a lion, right? So look in the mirror and say, I love you to yourself. Silly, but important. It's not about looking like a supermodel. It's about feeling like one, right? You don't need to look like a supermodel. It's about feeling like one. And the most, the most attractive quality that anybody can have is confidence, right? Men and women, the most attractive quality is confidence. The more confident you are within yourself, the better you're going to look in all ways. The better you're going to come across in all ways. So letting go of the past emotionally, psychologically, and physically. You need to let go of the past for there to be room for a new person and experiences to come in. Don't let the past haunt you and weigh you down. When you think and talk about the past, this is what happens. It doesn't allow you to move forward. It's hard to fly when something is weighing you down. So yeah, let go of the past. Let go of the past. Let it go, like the song. Make peace with the past and forgive. Happiness comes from within and is found in the present moment, while making peace with the past and looking forward to the future. It's important to make peace and forgive everyone in your past, but the most important person to forgive is yourself. Letting go of the past physically. It's good to let go of physical things from the past, like gifts from your ex, for example. And things will only change when you decide they will change. And I'm not saying that you have to get rid of all the gifts from your ex, but it depends how emotionally charged those gifts are. And for example, like a wedding dress or an engagement ring, those would be very emotionally charged. So definitely get rid of something like that, and anything that's emotionally charged, get rid of. Forgiveness. It's important to forgive yourself and your exes as well. It's important to remember that forgiving doesn't mean that you're saying that what they did was right. You are saying that you won't be affected by it anymore. Then the forgiveness meditation. You can close your eyes and visualize a person or circumstance that you are ready to forgive. You can say, thank you, I forgive you, and I release you with love. You can repeat this many times. And then you can also do the Ho'oponopono Hawaiian forgiveness meditation, where you say, I'm sorry, I forgive you, thank you, I love you. That this one is very, very powerful and very strong, and very effective as well. So yeah, you say those 4 things over and over again, and it's very, very powerful. Vision boards. I love creating vision boards with my clients. You create a vision board with images of the life that you would like to create. You go through magazines and cut out images that you like. You think about the different areas of your life: relationships, self-development, career, travel, hobbies, health, finances, social life, family, fun, and creativity. And then you make a collage of images, that you would like to attract into your life. And these vision boards are incredibly powerful. Once I had a client that made a vision board, and she manifested everything in a year. And there were big things on this vision board. She wanted to move to a new country. She wanted a new job, a new boyfriend. She wanted to buy an apartment, and she did it all in 1 year. So, it doesn't always happen so fast, but it can. It can happen fast. So yeah, vision boards are very, very powerful. So stay open to magic. Stay open to magic and life surprising you. I offer coaching sessions in English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. You can get in touch with me if you would like a session. My email is lauracoaching@gmail.com. And my website is laurarinenkoski.com. And right now, my English website is being updated, and the Spanish version is being done as well. So that's all going to be ready in September. So the book, Quiet and Badass, Visionary Women Embracing Their Uniqueness to Create Epic Impact, is launching on the 23rd of September on Amazon for just 99 cents. So yeah, so be sure to get your copy on the day of the launch, and you'll get a special gift when you buy the book on launch day. So you can get a discovery session with me when you buy the book on launch day. So yeah, so thank you so much for taking my workshop today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that it gave you lots to think about. And yeah, get in touch with me. Get in touch with me if you would like to have a session with me, if you would like some additional clarity on anything that I spoke about today. So yeah, so I wish you all the best, and remember to love yourself and accept yourself, and live in the present moment, and know that amazing things are possible. So I wish you all the best, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.